Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading, and today is March 11, 2025, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the U.S. markets tumble. Over 800 points in the Dow Jones and over 400 points on the NASDAQ. But first, looking at today's major economic events. So we have at 4 p.m. South African time from the United States, a JOLTS job opening number coming out. Now looking at the market, starting out with the Forex symbols, the euro and the British pound advance versus the US dollar. And as we shift over to the indices, of course, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both tumble. Now looking at commodities, gold gets a bounce where oil just trickles lower and that supportish area. And when we look at the stocks, it's red across the board. The market sold off, especially some of the big tech stocks and Tesla. Now, lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin remains unchanged in this environment. So let's take a look at markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. First with the Euro USD. Now, yesterday it looked like it was going to make a correctional move. We're going to make a fade opportunity. Sure enough, after the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both sold off, we see that the euro and actually is beating to the US dollar above 108.9-ish level. If we look at a daily chart, we could find ourselves at this 110-ish level. That's really the next resistance. 109.15 is a minor resistance, but 110 is a super important number. But that would be my next real resistance-ish area. Now, this may still correct itself depending on how the U.S. markets respond today. Now, looking at the GBP USD, didn't move higher. This is interesting because the GBP is generally stronger versus the U.S. dollar than the euro is, and it's not moving higher, which means this may either play catch-up or make a correctional move on the downside, and the euro will follow. So keep this on the radar. This is super important. Now looking at gold, we got a bounce yesterday above 2,900. Remember, 29.55 is our high, 28.55 is our low. So we're somewhere in the middle of that. Nothing really doing when it comes to gold. But looking at crude oil, this is where it becomes interesting. We trickled lower, but we're still on supportish level, okay? We're not a major supportish level, but we're still there. We haven't broke out of it. This is really very frustrating. Love to see it further correct, but let's see if it does, okay? Because a lot is hinging on what's happening in the U.S. and their new economic relationship with the world, whether you want to call it the tariff wars, whether you want to call it import and export, whatever it is, it's affecting the market in real time, okay? And it's affecting the U.S. market specifically. So let's take a look at it. Dow Jones tumbles yesterday to 42,000. And we're off of our highs by about 2,500 points. So I don't want to say this is like in a bear market yet. We're not in a bear market yet, okay? So just be aware of that. However, this is a major sell-off, okay? A major sell-off. And we are still on supportish area, so we may still bounce. Now, yesterday we pushed it even lower, but we closed off the day, and now the forward contracts, the futures are actually up this morning above 42,000. Now, a couple of things about this. I expect the futures to be up. The question is whether or not they're going to be up for a correctional move, or they're going to be up for a move that's going to further bring us down. Now, a couple of things about this. Last week was really the telltale sign, and I'll tell you why. Because we had a day last week where we had a massive day up on that Monday, even though we had a sell-off on that Friday, and then we had a correctional move again on that following day on Tuesday. This happened last week, and this is a telltale sign from when markets are actually changing. We get a massive day down, we get a massive day up, and then another massive day down. And that's exactly what happened, what preluded to this. And I did cover it. So don't tell me I didn't. You should have any excuses. Don't want to hear it. Now, which one got smashed the words? The NASDAQ, because it represents tech stocks. Okay, some of the biggest tech stocks that we know, the Teslas, the Microsofts, the Amazons, okay, all very big companies. And look at it. It's at 19,000, below 20,000. That's significant. Now, this may bring us into a bear market. Okay, the NASDAQ may bring us into a bear market because let's take a look at it, all right? If we look at Amazon, it got beaten up to 194, way below its 242 high. If we look at some of the other major computer companies, Cisco is not the biggest, but it's a super important company. Let's take a look at that. That actually sold off quite aggressively as well to 62,000. Now looking at Tesla, this is where it got hit the worst. And we mentioned this, right? We said when it breaks support at this 330 or 300, it'll sell off. And sure enough, that's exactly what we did, right? We sold off over 80 bucks over the past week. And so this is getting smashed. Looking at Facebook, Meta also sold off quite aggressively. I do want to highlight, this didn't sell off. NVIDIA sold off marginally, okay, compared to some of the other tech stocks. And we're still not on our lows. $98 was our low when we hit it before this all happened. So keep that in mind. And we did go to 147. We did retrace down to 104. This thing is volatile, but it didn't sell to an aggressively low level. It could be that it might sell off today if it just needs to play catch up. There was rotation yesterday, but it didn't sell off yesterday. So I'd be looking to see what actually bounces there. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, it sold off, but nothing really big. So I call it unchanged really because it kind of, brought itself back to levels that we expected it to be. All right, now 80,000 is an important level for it, but if it does break 80,000, we could see 70K. So keep that on the radar as well. It's momentum trading. It's not a lot of technical, so just be aware of the current environment that we're in. This is Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.